Is it secret? Is it safe?
Like it, really like it. Can we try it once more?
Okay.
There's something a little funny going on with the S's.
Okay.
Yeah, is that something that if you got an impediment of sorts?
No, I have no impediment at all. It's all just me.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. No, just fine. Just try, maybe clean it up a little bit because we love you. We'd love you to be part of it. Just try it once more.
Absolutely. Okay. Is it secret? Is it safe?
Yeah.
There's something there, isn't there?
You're great in to change
That's-
words.
I'll
Oh,
try
it's lovely.
I can
Yeah,
try it
amazing.
once more.
Okay, try it once more. This time, just think clean.
Yes.
Just think bright.
Yes.
You know,
You're telling the
use
story.
accent.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you know. Sorry.
I'll
Nick,
try
go
again.
ahead.
Okay.
One more time. Here we
One
go.
more time.
Let's go.
Okay. Is it secret? Is it safe?
I think we're going to go with Ian McKellen.
Oh,
I ain't got nothing but love, babe. 8 days a geek.
Hello and welcome. This is AJ Jenks from 8 Days a Geek, and here we are. It is part 2 of the Fellowship of the Ring. I am joined with
Benjamin Pryor
and
Christopher Weeks.
here we are. I hope you've been listening to our podcast before. I hope you've enjoyed them, and we're going to carry on from where we ended.
Yeah, where did we get to?
We got to the Council of Elrond.
Oh, yes. Very exciting.
It feels weird splitting this up because, you know, last time we were in Inverness and now we're in Glasgow.
Yeah.
So it feels like a long time has been in between there.
Yeah, that's true.
We
That's
are
true.
indeed. Right now we are in a dressing room at the King's Theatre in Glasgow.
Yeah.
And we've just finished the show. We're in between shows. We'll be doing one later on tonight. But we thought, you know what? We'd love to carry this on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So here we are.
We've had quite a Lord of the Rings inspired sort of weekend as well, because we were at a place called Loch Voil,
Oh, yes.
which was epic in its sort of scenery. And it does remind you of New Zealand and the setting of Middle Earth and Lord of the Rings. And there's that sort of epic quality that comes with these massive expanses of water and these great rolling hills. And it was snowing as well, which always
Yeah.
helps.
And of course, from that was born the new mini-series
Oh, yeah.
from you as well. So,
Yeah.
do you want to explain a bit about the mini-series?
I don't think there's any need to explain. I think it explains itself, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
We'll go
more-
to the Instagram to check out that.
Yeah, do have a look. Walks with Weeks.
Yeah. At the point that we're recording this right now, we're on 184 followers.
Hey,
so who knows, when it
not
comes
bad.
out, maybe we'll hit the 200.
Big two. Wow.
But let's talk about now. We got to
Yeah.
the Council of Elrond. We talked about all the characters that we meet, but we never spoke about the actual casting, what we actually thought of how
What, in
Rivendell
general?
was done. How
But,
yeah.
Okay, now we have to take a moment to talk about. I said I was going to talk
Right,
about
here
this.
we go.
Your pronunciation of these names. It's
Why?
bizarre because he
What,
doesn't call
Rivendell?
it. He doesn't call it Rivendell, which is how it's written and how everyone else says it. He calls
You
it
say Rivendell.
Yeah,
Dale.
Rivendell.
I think that is because we're so used to places having Dale on them. There's other roads.
Don't make
and things.
excuses
Yeah, it's
for him.
probably
No, I
why.
do
You
think
know,
that's
Ben,
what-
I think you're right. For the
But-
first time, I agree with you.
Right.
I'm not actually saying that you're right because you're not. You're definitely
Oh.
not right.
God.
I'm just saying that there's more of an excuse on your side, but it is Rivendell.
Right.
You know what? Maybe Ben's right. Let's also talk about your pronunciation of Aragorn.
Well, Aragon.
You
Yeah,
call
it's
him
not
Aragon.
Yeah, I
Like,
call
do you remember
Aragon.
that film Aragon?
Yeah.
Are you confusing the two characters?
That's what we're talking about. isn't it?
I can't even defend you on that one. Mate.
So,
You
I did get a bit confused when you started talking about Lord of the Rings. I was like, was that the name of the...
That's the name of the series. Oh, is it?
right.
Oh,
I-
great.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
no, I saw that. I liked it.
I've been blagging my way through this so
In fairness, you've done
well.
quite well. Well, I just wanted to address that, and I
Okay.
will continue to address it.
Well-
there might be some others. I can't wait to hear
We
it.
all have our own little funny quirks, and I
Yeah.
can't wait until we get to Moria and speak about that scene.
Absolutely. Not to mention Boromir.
Yeah,
Love him.
Boromir is my
Look,
favourite.
We say
Played by the
Mire
sh-
an awful lot.
The Sean Boone. He's a great actor.
I'm
But
so sorry.
we are meeting everyone. We're meeting our 9. But our good 9, not
Yeah.
our bad 9.
The
Our
9 walkers against the 9
fellowship.
riders.
Yeah, we don't want to confuse people. We've talked about the 9, and so
Yeah.
it's good to put.
But the 9 are the Nazgul.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
When
so-
they're referred to as the 9.
And when we talk about the good 9,
I mean, we
that's
never.
it.
I don't think anyone ever refers
No one's
to
ever
that.
probably said that.
no, it's
So-
a fellowship, aren't they?
Yeah.
The fellowship. Yeah.
Traditionally, yeah.
So we meet Aragon.
Oh. It's going to bug me
Aragorn.
now. I forgave you before.
He's a movie franchise.
We've
Aragon.
already talked about him anyway. So we meet
We have.
Legolas,
Yeah, Orlando Bloom.
played by Orlando
Did you say
Bloom.
Legolas?
Oh.
Did you? I missed that.
No,
Say
I
that
didn't.
again.
I said Legolas.
Okay. Yeah, it's a short O.
Yeah, Legolas.
Isn't it Legolas?
Well, I don't know.
is, but-
This is not interesting
No,
stuff. I'm
no,
sorry.
this
isn't.
Bugs
This
me.
Jesus.
But no, Orlando Bloom. Orlando Bloom.
I think it's
Legolas. We got
perfect.
Legolas. Now,
Only 19 when he.
Amazing. It was his
played
first.
that part.
He left. He went to the Guildhall School of Music and Drama in
Yeah.
London, and he left drama school to go do that early. Can you
Incredible.
imagine getting that
incredible
job?
first gig. My
Oh
goodness.
wow!
Yeah.
Just amazing. Oh, and there's that story about him meeting
Billy
was it
Boyd.
Billy Boyd in the airport.
And it was Billy Boyd's birthday.
Yeah.
And it was the day when they were all being flown out to New Zealand. So
Imagine being Orlando Bloom, being so
And that-
terrified.
and it would be weird.
Your first job is a massive movie in another country. You don't know anyone.
And the filming is going on for over a year.
Yeah. No, huge contract.
That's over a year of your life in a different
so,
country.
am I wrong in assuming that he read the books prior to getting this gig?
Orlando
Or-
Bloom?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
I
to be
don't
honest
know,
with you.
actually.
I imagine he would have done. I mean, he was at a drama school, and
Yeah.
at drama school you're taught to be as methodical as you possibly
Yeah,
can be.
yeah.
So I'm sure he would have read them for the audition, maybe,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
definitely when he got the part, he would
Because can
definitely
you
have read
imagine
them.
if he hadn't? And it's already daunting enough. This whole everything that's going on. Then they're putting the fake ears on
Yeah.
him. He's going, "What am I doing?" What is
Yeah.
that?"
Oh, you mean once he'd actually got out there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he must have
Crazy.
known about it by then.
Yeah.
Surely. Yeah.
I mean, he was always my favourite character when I was a kid.
Legolas, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I thought he was just the coolest.
I think I know a lot of people who say the same thing.
Yeah.
And,
And I think if you're listening on our Instagram, or if
Can you listen on this?
if you're one of our Instagram, I know we have a lot of Legolas fans that,
Oh, yeah.
or Legolas
yeah,
pages
Yeah.
that follow us. So hello to you.
He's a big icon, isn't he?
He really is.
A
Yeah.
lot of people.
Yeah,
I like that. I think that's nice.
you like that, do you?
I do like it. See, I was more of an Aragorn fan myself. I'd always thought that he was.
I thought it was a bit too mainstream for me.
Sure.
Awful.
If it came down to it, do you ever remember the incredible game, The Return of the King?
Oh
Yes,
my God.
Brilliant.
Um,
Is that PlayStation
Unbelievable.
2?
2, I think. Yeah.
I played it on the Xbox, and
Sure.
I
Oh,
would
here we go.
always play as Legolas.
Mm.
I'd always play as Gandalf.
Yeah. Would you?
Yeah.
That great Gandalf one where he's at Isengard and he has to open the dam and he's just
Oh my God.
firing from his
So
staff.
great. There's a bit of a lack of Lord of the Rings. I know we were talking about Lord of the Rings Online last time. There's a bit of a lack of Lord of the Rings games recently. I suppose there was Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War are
They were
probably...
Well, I
great
don't know if you
games.
boys have heard that there's supposedly a new MMO for Lord
I
of the Rings.
have heard that, but I think it's early day rumours, isn't it?
Well, I know that
I
there's
can never
big
believe that stuff.
production companies that are behind it, and they're looking.
Really?
Yeah, so you know, production companies have their website and they list jobs for
Right.
openings.
Of
And
course,
say
yeah.
you need a designer or whatever. They have said they've put on their website whoever this company is looking for a sound designer
Right.
Lord of the Rings game. So
How cool.
it's been in talks for so long.
I
so-
imagine they're doing that though, and they'll probably cut it out at the same time as the Lord of the Rings series comes
that's
out.
exactly
That's
what I've
probably
heard
why
of
they're
people
backing
say.
it up.
Right.
Yeah.
When is that due? Do we know? Couple of years?
2021 or 2022?
Don't know,
I wonder.
but
We'll have to look it up.
I do know someone that does,
Who?
who gave us a lovely little mention
Oh,
in
We're doing big shout outs.
this
Well.
this is
In
going
there.
to tie in beautifully.
in their
But what a time to be a Tolkien fan.
A lot.
Oh my God, it's brilliant. Well, it's so lovely, isn't it? But of course, we have to remember, and we didn't talk about this last time. Christopher Tolkien died so recently.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes,
Tolkien's son, who
yeah.
sort of curated his work and
Yeah.
put together a lot of the unfinished tales, and was just he was a champion for Tolkien's works.
Yeah.
So it was a real loss to lose him.
It was Everything in Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, they're great.
They did a YouTube video and mentioned us in, and that YouTube video was
Oh.
also about production on
Amazing.
the new series.
Oh,
so
fab.
if you do want to go and find it out,
Yeah.
go to everything_in_middle_earth,
A lot of underscores.
a lot of underscores, and check out their YouTube, because if you do want to find out, then go straight there. You'll find out,
right.
which we need to have a look at again.
Oh no, we definitely will.
But they gave us a lovely little mention, so thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
So back to the Fellowship, because we
Orlando Bloom.
veered.
Oh, it's too easy to do. It's such a big world. But Orlando, talk about Orlando.
Yeah, I think he was just perfect casting.
Yeah.
What made you love him so much when you were growing up? What kind of drew you to him?
I don't know. I think I think it was just after I watched the films and I found out a bit more of the story between Legolas and Aragorn. When you look in the lore, that they'd known each other quite. Don't give me that face.
I'm sorry, I'm being hard on you.
But that they actually have a bit of history and stuff like that, and they've met each other quite a few times before. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And Legolas's first real line when he stands up and says, you know, about Aragorn and stuff like that, and shuts Boromir up. It's like,
Oh, what? This is no mere ranger.
Yeah.
Here's our
Oh, goodness,
son.
yeah.
I did think,
love
Oh, it's
that.
great.
that is a great way to bring, like,
It already shows a
To
bond and a
introduce
sense
you.
of friendship.
And
there
his
from the
status as
get-go.
well.
Yeah.
The elves have all got this natural status and grace, which is sort of enviable.
They're
Yeah.
like royalty.
Yeah, they really are.
Imagine royalty
It is-
in the myth.
yeah.
Yeah, but sort of easy royalty, you know. They're not
Yeah.
shouting and screaming. They're
Yeah.
just easy and graceful.
Yeah.
And the design of them, I think, is absolutely wonderful.
yeah.
It's another way that the Lord of the Rings films, I think, were so forward thinking, because it's the classic thing of fantasy having been fantasy. The feel of fantasy films up until this point had been completely different, and it felt more sci-fi-ish to me.
Yeah.
The designs were always very quite outlandish, you know, and the music sort of accompanied that and was a lot heavier and more electronic and overdriven. I'm generalizing a little bit, but Lord of the Rings brought it back to that simple medieval inspired design.
It did, and I think Tolkien had this art where he realised that everything had to have a reason for happening, and it couldn't just be
absolutely.
spurious. It couldn't just be, this is fantasy, so I'm just going to make someone
Yeah.
do this or do that. Everything had to be connected and have to have a reason, which made it feel all the more real. And
Yeah, absolutely, and that really fits in quite well there. Yeah,
So we then meet Boromir,
Boromir.
played by the
Sean
fantastic Sean Byrne. I imagine we're all Sean Bean fans
Oh,
here.
who isn't a Sean Bean fan? Let's be honest.
This is true. I mean, I don't think there is anyone that dislikes Sean Bean.
No.
No.
It's impossible. He's an incredible actor, and that part was just perfect for him.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Obviously, he had to die because that's what Sean Bean has to
And that's
do.
what he does.
Every film he's been in.
Yeah, but
he's not allowed to live.
we're not going to get there for a while. But it's
I know-
astonishing.
I know.
death.
I know you're about to talk about
What?
What Sean Bean's death in this.
I'm not. We can't talk about it yet. We're still in the
Oh,
Council
no.
of Elrond, for God's
Yeah.
sake.
Yeah.
But it's something to
You've
look
only
forward to.
met him.
Funny
yeah, we need to
Yeah,
move out of
exactly.
the council there.
No, we do. But
Right.
yeah, and we'll talk about Sean Bean as well if we
Yeah.
ever talk about James Bond or about Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Oh god.
I mean,
he
he's
crosses over
just
everything.
he crops up everywhere, but he's wonderful.
And then we meet
Who else?
Gimli.
Oh, John Rhys Davis,
John Rhys Davis.
the legend.
My favourite is Gimli.
Is he?
I've
Really?
always had a connection with Gimli.
You've always had a connection with him.
I don't know. I think he's so his humour always got
Yeah.
me. The way that he's so quick, snappy, and very childlike in a lot of senses when
Yeah.
it comes to his kind of natural aggression that he has, and the little games that you play with Legolas as well. I think all of that kind of childhood humour.
Their
Yeah.
friendship is just
That's
Oh, it's
beautiful.
fantastic.
It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
It's
Yeah.
perfect. In fact, that goes back to the casting, and they work so perfectly together.
Yeah.
Really did.
An interesting thing about John Rhys Davis is that he is by far the tallest of the 9 actors who
Yeah,
played
yeah.
them, which is
So it looks
just an
bizarre
amazing
when
thought.
you-
Yeah.
But you know, the old-fashioned trickery that they used to make them appear smaller works perfectly.
Yeah.
Because I know how big John Rhys Davis is. I've seen him in other things, and yet when I see Gimli, it's Gimli who's a dwarf, and
Did
he's
you
shorter
see
than
him in
everyone
other
else.
films before you saw Lord of the Rings?
I'd seen Indiana Jones before I'd seen Lord of the
Sure,
Rings, yeah.
yeah.
But I didn't associate Gimli.
after the dog!
Okay.
Well, that's ruined. Sorry,
Yeah.
everyone.
Goodness me.
I
Wow.
have to whenever you mention him in Indiana Jones, I
Right.
have to do that. Did that in the last episode.
He's yes, no, we remember. He's
I think everyone remembers.
he is great though. But yeah, no, I'd never recognised him. Never
Yeah.
recognised him. Of course, he crops up as another voice in the Two Towers. But
He
we'll
does
get to
indeed,
that.
he
We're
does.
talking about the Council of Elrond. I'm sorry, I get
So-
excited.
Let's leave.
Yeah, go on.
But just before,
Is-
I was going to say earlier on, this is one of the
Yeah.
first scenes where we see all these races together.
It is.
And it's absolutely stunning. And that really goes to show you the far corners of how big this land is.
Absolutely.
That Tolkien is
It's quite
creating.
interesting as well in the relationships between the races that there is.
There's tension.
There is tension.
Yeah.
There is that
Yeah.
kind of racism factor just
Yeah,
underlined in
between the elves and the dwarves in particular.
it. And the way Elrond talks about men
Yeah.
Yeah.
and stuff, and yeah, obviously the elves and the dwarves have this massive hatred. But when you
Yeah.
read The Hobbit as well, you understand why that's a thing
Absolutely, yeah.
and stuff. But yeah, so
battles passed down from many generations. It seems.
But also
just like today.
Elrond. The interesting thing is that Elrond sort of supersedes all of that because he was there when
Exactly.
the courage of men failed.
I was there, Gandalf.
Yeah, unbelievable. Let's take one moment. AJ is itching to move on.
Yes!
Just to talk about the ring at the Council of Elrond, because the ring shows its power and its sort of might and majesty there, particularly when Gimli tries to smash it with his axe, and the axe is completely destroyed.
Yeah, that's the first kind of eye-opening thing where you're like, okay, this isn't...
Yeah.
You see...
Because you do think it's metal, just destroy it in a furnace, but no, can't be done. It can only be destroyed in the Fire Mountain or a Druin.
Yeah, it's kind of... With the Council of Elrond, you do really start to see the fear
Yeah.
that they have against the ring and Sauron, and the way when Gandalf speaks, is it called Mordorish? Or...
The language of Mordor, I suppose. Oh, it's called the Black Speech.
The Black Speech, that's it.
Yeah.
And, everything starts going dark and even the power just in the language.
I love that. I also love that it's never been spoken before in Rivendell.
Yeah.
That's the power of language. And that is a big thing from Tolkien, who of course wrote the language first, and then the stories around the language.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's just
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
How is that not his main focus, the
Yeah.
story, when the story is so incredible?
That's someone who is a fan of fantasy first, and then decided to bring his world that he'd already created in his head to life through the book. And I think hats off to someone who can do that, because my God,
Hats off to Tolkien from Ben Pryor. It's a big moment.
That's a big thing.
they are my friend.
Wherever you are,
I saw
Tolkien.
you going before you even went. So I
Yeah.
knew there was
I was like,
something
where is he going? Is he raising a toast to Tolkien?
So
well,
we-
fair
Tolkien.
play.
We have left. we have left the Council of Elrond now, and we are
We're
now.
still there.
Wait.
We are now
Oh,
on
I
our
thought there was
trip.
one more thing that I wanted to
We are now on our trip. We are
Great.
on our way, and
Cool.
we see that fantastic montage. And this is the first time I'm probably gonna. We're probably gonna speak about this. The score.
Oh my God.
So we
because
see
this is the first moment, isn't it?
This is the first time you feel the power and you hear that theme of
Yeah.
Beautiful.
just as they're like climbing over the top.
Did they get you to do it?
They did. They did.
Wow.
Yeah, that was Howard
Nice
Shaw
bit of-
just gave me a little call and was like,
Howard's a great guy. He remembers
Yeah,
his
he-
friends, doesn't he?
But what
But-
a powerful moment, as you say. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
we see
it really is.
that montage of them actually on their trip.
Yeah.
And
Is it in the main film where, as they leave Rivendell, Frodo says, I don't know if
No,
it's left
it's
or
not.
right. Is
It's-
it only in the extended?
that's in the
Because I love
extended,
that. And Gandalf's little
Gandalf.
left.
Left or
It's
right?
brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a lovely bit of sort of humanity from Frodo.
Yeah,
'cause
just
he's leading this thing. Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. Are
Speaking,
you gonna?
I'm gonna take it for one moment because it's not in the films.
Right.
It's in the
So
books.
should we cover this?
Yes, no, we should. We do that all the time. We talk about Bombadil, for God's sake.
That's the point of it, yeah.
You say Bob?
No. You can't.
Bobby B.
Oh, Bob
I was going to
Tombadil.
say Bombadil, but he said
Yeah.
it, and I went, we have to talk about Bob. And I just stopped
Right,
there.
this is madness.
Come on.
Hurry up and say what I've got to
Right,
say.
no, this is good, right? Because in the books and in the radio adaptation, which I love to talk about,
Yeah, you do.
At the Council of Elrond, Bilbo's also there, and Bilbo says to Elrond, I know what you're going to say. I started this, so I've got to finish it. Fine, I'll take the ring. Bilbo wants to take the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's which is.
Is that the ring's power over him, or is it?
No, because Bilbo's sort of free of the power because he voluntarily gave it up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which is an amazing thing in itself.
Yeah.
But he volunteers to take the ring, and then they obviously say, "Are you nuts? Look at the state of you. You can't do that."
Look at this tape.
No,
I don't know
but-
if Tolkien actually wrote that bit.
No, no.
Are you nut? Look at this.
I'm a script doctor.
state of
If
you.
anyone's interested, I doctor scripts all the time. I'll come and do it.
That is very cool then.
right. Sorry, we've left.
That's such a cool
Right,
fact.
so
That's great. Oh,
we've had
just a
that
weird
beautiful
thought.
montage, and we first hear that massive score.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had beautiful moments in the score before, but
We have.
this is the first moment
It's
for
the
me
first-
where I'm like,
the fellowship
Yes.
theme is the first appearance of the fellowship
Yeah.
theme, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
and it's a beautiful moment. You see all the characters,
Yeah.
and hits me every time that
Yeah,
moment.
of course. And they're walking over the mountains, heading towards the Misty Mountains,
Yeah,
and they're practicing swordplay.
yeah, which
The
is
hobbits are practicing, aren't
It's
they?
just a lovely little bit just to see that the
It's
relation-
nice with Boromir in
Yeah.
particular because we know how Boromir's character
Yeah.
goes. It's nice to see him being playful and welcoming and part of the company, and the hobbits obviously really look up to him and adore him because he's this powerful. He's a lord at the end of the day. He's
Yeah.
a lord of Gondor, for
And
goodness
this is
sake.
where we first hear about Moria.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Gimli says we should have taken the.
Or we should still because
Yeah.
they're not at the Misty Mountains
And
yet.
then you see there's that beautiful little close up on Ian McKellen
Yeah,
where he just says no.
yeah.
And I can't remember the exact line, but
he says, "I will not go through." Oh, what's he saying? I will not take that road unless there is no other way.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And you're right. He doesn't. McKellen doesn't overplay it at all.
no, you just see that he knows something that Gimli
Yeah.
doesn't. And
He's
The fact that he can do that with an expression is fascinating.
all in the eyes. It's
It
all,
really
it's all in
is.
Ian McKellen's eyes.
Yeah.
He's so good at it.
It's just that slight. He understands exactly what Gimli wants, why he wants to go
Yeah.
there. He, as we know, Gandalf has already been through Moria, so
Yeah.
he knows what it's all about.
Yeah.
He knows what's going on there,
and he knows what's down there. As
Yeah,
well.
there's it's a very complex moment really for for a single line of dialogue.
Yeah, he doesn't just know that it's been taken over by goblins and stuff. Like he knows
There's
the darkness. That's
there's
down
something
there,
else in there which
is
he doesn't want to deal with.
And then
Can I pause you? I'm talking a lot. I'm so sorry. I'm very excited. At this moment in the books, you right, Prior?
Sorry, I wanted to talk about it. So carry on.
See,
mate.
the silent movements don't make any sense on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Of course, that's the yeah.
say what you're doing.
What do you mean?
Say what you're doing.
Let's try that again.
I'm leaning back in anguish against Chris, just talking again.
I'm so sorry.
AJ and I have mirrored each other with how we've got our legs
You
crossed.
have, and I'm leaning forward really eagerly.
Our podcast says so much
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
There
Right?
is-
Deeply
Come on.
uncool. It has to
Go
be said.
on, Chris.
Right, I'll say it quickly.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is. No, I can.
Oh,
So when they're talking about Moria in the books,
Yeah.
it's Aragorn says we shouldn't go through Moria. Gandalf is considering it in the books, and Aragorn says, if we choose to take this path, I warn you, Gandalf, not all of us, you specifically, if you go into Moria, something bad is going to happen. So he's having almost a sort of a prophecy, a feeling so strong that he warns Gandalf that something awful is going to happen to him if he goes into Moria.
But weirdly enough, it's never actually said that Aragorn ever went to Moria.
No, true.
Like in the 60 years between where Aragorn is in Rivendell. But like
That
obviously
is a program, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
That's what I always think of when he says that.
I hated when that program came out. I watched it and went, what is this?
This is so confusing.
Lord of the Rings.
But yeah, the 60 years between when he leaves
Yeah.
and to when he, is in Bree.
Yeah.
And it's never really said much. It's only said that he goes on all these adventures because he wants to be a man so he can return and marry Arwen.
Yeah, that's true. And of course he does Hunt for Gollum as well.
Yeah.
There's that. Have you seen that fan film, Hunt for Gollum? The Hunt for Gollum.
No, but I want
Oh,
to
you
see
should
it.
really see it. It's really good.
Yeah.
There's two of them. One is about Arathorn, Aragorn's father, obviously, and one is about the Hunt for Gollum. It's tremendous. They were made years ago as well.
Yeah.
People have put together these for a short film, a big budget film. Look gorgeous, full scores, everything like that. So I think Aragorn has been through Moria as well, but it's not really
But it's-
referenced in the same
yeah.
way. We know Gandalf has, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gandalf. has been.
But yeah. Oh, and of course, then the crows appear, the Crab Iron from Dunland.
Yeah. Which I didn't really understand for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really get it. I was just like, it's just a load of crows.
It is.
Why are you hiding from crows?
I still don't get it.
They were spies.
The spies of
Oh,
Saruman.
of course they do. Yeah, no, I
Because
do.
literally the
I wondered what
the
you were
next
talking
scene
about,
is
but now I
where
remember.
where
Yeah, yeah.
Saruman's underground and then you see them fly in and then he
Yes.
says,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you have chosen to...
Yeah, I do understand that.
And then you get that...
I don't remember that bit.
What?
It's
Which
hard
bit?
to do with just... There's a whole orchestra that just
Oh, were
does
you
that
thinking
bit.
of multiple strings?
Yeah, it's hard to do that just in
I
one
honestly don't
voice.
know which bit you're referring to.
I'll get it
Okay.
up later on.
Great, when we get there.
So yeah,
That's fascinating for listeners, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll get it up later.
Great.
yeah.
But yeah, the
And
crows
then-
appear.
And then and then they're like, okay,
They have to hide.
bugger.
Yeah.
We'll beep that, shall we?
We don't have to beat bugger out. I don't want to say bugger.
Can
Well,
you?
we said it like 4 times now, so
Yeah.
you must
Right,
be able to
fine.
say it.
Okay, we're
And
gonna
then
leave
we
it.
get to the beautiful, and this is another bit why I fell in love with Legolas, is that so when they're in the mountains going through the
yeah.
snow, and they're all about like 2 foot deep in snow,
Wading through it.
Yeah.
and then Legolas is just
Forcing their
walking
way.
over
Yes.
the snow. And
Ah.
I didn't realise that for ages until
Nor
I
did
watched
I.
it back, and I was like, wait, he's not
Yeah.
stuck in the snow with
Yeah,
him. I was
it's
just
so
like,
light on
that
his
is such
feet.
an epic
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I thought they hadn't done that because I read it in the books and was like, oh, I didn't see that in the film. But it is there. He's just
Yeah.
walking over the snow.
Yeah.
I only realised that, like, I don't know, the last 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, lovely detail.
And
Lovely
then-
detail.
Amazing.
And then we get a fantastic Saruman versus Gandalf moment.
casting spells in the mountains.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do it.
I thought you were.
You know what I'm gonna do?
I've thought this for about 15 minutes. You're definitely going to do this.
Yeah,
bit.
I'm gonna do it.
Come on.
listeners, you probably know what I'm gonna do right now.
So if you want to turn down volume.
Gandalf, we must turn back. Right.
So if anyone had seen
Amazing moment. Amazing moment.
if
That.
anyone had seen was around long enough to see the beginning of YouTube, you would have seen that video.
You would have. That's a very old
Yes,
video.
very old.
But it's such a beautiful moment, that bit where you just see.
He stared at me in the eye for the whole time doing that, and it
That's
was really
great.
uncomfortable.
I know.
That's great. He wanted you to really understand.
I only laughed and smiled at the end as
I
well.
know, you was. It was scary. It was very scary.
Oh, it's intense. You have to stop.
Anyway.
Please.
Anyway.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, you see that beautiful moment where, like, the camera turns around behind Saruman as he's casting his spells, and you just see the clouds
flying.
cover over the mountains and stuff, and it's
Beautiful,
just
yeah.
an epic moment. And then Gandalf trying to do it back,
but
just not
fight it. Well, he's no
not-
match for Saruman at this point, is he?
just
Really?
not powerful enough.
Not really. It's a wonderful moment. We've already had the moment I talked about last time with the ring in the snow. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
But the whole mountain sequence is just amazing.
It's beautiful.
We should talk about here.
What?
Sean Bean. Yeah, go on.
And
Tell the
this-
Sean Bean story. It's wonderful.
So, this was during film. I don't know if you know this, Ben.
I probably won't.
That is your
Sorry.
real name.
Say sorry.
Did you say
You should be sorry.
No, I didn't say sorry. I said I probably don't. I probably won't. So I'd love to hear it. Is what I was gonna say. But then
So you did what I did with
Bomb Tombadil.
yeah, it was another Bob V2. Go on. I wanna listen.
So when they were filming, obviously they were up in mountains. It wasn't CGI or anything.
No.
That was all real.
You can tell.
So they all used to have to take helicopters up there, and then on some of them they took a few ski lifts and stuff. But Sean Bean was too scared of helicopters. He couldn't do it. He hated the thought of it.
I noticed.
So they'd be flying up in the helicopters, and they'd look down, and they'd see Sean Bean full in costume climbing up a mountain
Amazing.
just to film a scene.
Such a
Now,
legend.
that is dedication.
It really is.
I've heard that, and I remember thinking
They couldn't find any other way, so they just looked down and see Sean Bean just hiking up a mountain.
Most actors would go, "Oh, I'm not doing the scene. Do it without me."
Yeah, or just
And
use a stunt double.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and change the film. He's like, "No,
Yeah.
No, I'll still do it.
I'm only in this film for a bit. I want every minute I can get."
Yeah, and he got up hours before everyone else, obviously, because it was miles.
And we're getting to full costume. That's
Oh my
what
God,
got
yeah.
me. They wouldn't even set up a costume poster.
Yeah.
He was
His
just
armour and
fully
his sword and
Brilliant.
wow.
It's amazing.
Took the shield as well.
Oh yeah, to take it. Of course he did.
On his back.
absolutely.
It was tremendous.
Yeah,
But I
quite
suppose
right.
in a weird way, I mean, it's a great way to get in character.
Oh god.
If
Yeah.
you want to find
If
a
you
way
just
really
do
to
it.
get
It's
you
like the
in.
Revenant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Not
so
as brutal. There's one other story from those mountains as well. Do you know the Sean Astin story?
where
He
he's
used to signal the helicopters
signal
into
the
land,
helicopters.
which they always used to, and they did an awful lot of taking the mick out of Sean Astin and his ways. But he would be like, "Yeah, no, in you come. No, it's fine. Yep, just slow up. Down you come. That's it. And yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, here you come." Like that. He
Like
would be
he's backing up a lorry, but with a helicopter.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a wonderful thing, and obviously all the other hobbits, all the other cast
Yeah.
were watching him, going, "What is he up to? I think they know how to land it."
Yeah,
Come
I mean,
on.
it's their job.
Yeah,
It is.
lovely.
Just in
that.
case people are wondering, I still am reading Sean Astin's book.
Yeah, how you getting on with it?
Still haven't got to any Lord of the Rings
Oh,
moments.
right.
Still haven't got to it.
He's not exactly
Before
deep
we
into
move
it.
on,
I mean,
I'd say.
I
Do
would.
we know how Legolas wasn't thinking, like how they actually did it?
No, I don't know
No,
that.
I don't
Because
know. how
I'm
they did it at
thinking
all.
I might have seen.
I'm guessing they just
something
made a little
similar-
pathway at the side and just.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or
I've seen
raised
something
a bit of
similar
snow.
made before where they have like almost like netting that is stiff. So if you imagine like crossed metal like that, and so it sinks into the sand and is covered immediately, and then they
Yeah.
can just walk along it. And I've seen some things like that. So
It-
if
yeah,
it
that's
could work
how
on
they
snow
do
as
There's
well.
probably tons of tricks.
It must.
that
Yeah,
they
I'm
do.
sure it's an old school trick that they
Yeah,
would have used,
'cause it's
but it
real
looks
snow as well.
unbelievable,
Oh god, yeah.
and it would
Sorry,
save
yeah.
so much money in CGI and post and all that. You know.
Yeah.
But now it must be the time
Yeah.
to get to the Might of Moria.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Suddenly, everything is a lot darker,
yeah,
both cinematically and
I mean,
story.
yeah, we have to talk about the door.
We do,
Yeah.
and the Watcher in the water.
Oh goodness me, that's.
I mean, that scene was only
It used
about
to terrify me.
4 or 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
So much kicked off.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's where my phobia of large things in open water has come from. Is that scene?
Yeah.
Because just the sheer scale of the tentacles and bits like
Yeah.
that. Oh,
It's a
God.
monstrous thing,
Oh,
isn't it?
God.
But Moria is done. I mean, the score as well over
Oh
it
my God.
is
Yeah.
incredible. But
Yeah.
just the moonlight and the lighting of the door,
Yeah.
and when it opens, and that beautiful moment after everything's crashed through, where there's just that silence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then Gandalf just turns on his staff,
yeah.
lights
Got a
it
little
up.
button. Isn't it?
Yeah, and then you just see. Just heard what you said.
He's got a little button.
Yeah, he
On his
he went,
torch.
turns on his light. And I was like,
Oh, he's got that stone which he puts in the
Yeah.
head of his staff. I don't know the story of that stone, and I would like to know, so I'm going to look
please
that
find
up.
that out.
I
for
will,
the-
because that's lovely.
But yeah, and then
What do we
Oh,
see?
he
AJ?
walks through
Yeah, the entrance.
Moria, and it's just beautiful. And that little mithril scene
Mm.
Oh yeah.
where he just blows into the crystal, and they just look down.
Yeah, I'll risk a little real
It's
light.
it's fantastic. But Moria, let's not get too stuck on Moria because it goes on for
Yeah.
It does.
a
There's-
very long time.
There are a few points though. One of the interesting points we've already talked about is the relationship between the elves and the dwarves, and the door. The really interesting thing about that, obviously, is that the word is the Elvish word for friend,
Yeah.
and I love to talk about the books, as you know. In the films, it's Frodo who realizes it's a riddle. In the books, it's Gandalf who realizes it's a riddle, and he says, what does he say? It's essentially he says that it's these are too dark. These days are too dark for a learned lawmaster like me, because back in those simpler times when everyone was friends, these doors would just have been open, and all you
Yeah.
had to say, it's not a password. It's just literally a door,
Yeah.
a word to open the door and
Yeah.
to gain entry. You know, it's not a security thing
Yeah.
in that same way. Which shows the difference now that the doors are all closed, and also that there's maybe some terror contained within where they're trying to close it. Also, the fact that the Watcher tears down those massive
Yeah.
stone doors. Oh, cool Legolas moment as well, where
Yeah.
he shoots it.
Excellent.
Excellent.
How
Excellent
beautiful
shot.
is that writing though to do it with all the intricacies of a door?
Yeah.
Just one
And
single
the moon door as well. The fact that the moonlight reveals it, I
Yeah.
love that.
It's beautifully done.
Yeah. It's something to do with Ithil, but I can't remember what
Yeah.
it is.
But Moria
But
is
yeah.
just it's a mini film in a film.
Yeah.
It is.
Definitely,
This
definitely.
huge expanse under the mountain.
And just the cities and just the pathways that they take. And,
Yeah. Have you got a favourite moment in Moria?
Probably Boromir's line, "They have a cave troll." I think is just
I knew you were going to say that.
it's great. It's just the camera angle where it just slides around to him.
Yeah.
And you just see him turn back and just go, "They have a cave troll."
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. He's sort of exhausted by it. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, for goodness sake. It's the
That-
last thing
that
we
again
did.
is incredible acting because it's not how you would necessarily do it immediately. If you were an actor, you wouldn't really think of doing it like that.
No.
But the way he kind of plays it off quite flippantly because he's so tired and he's like, "Oh,
Well, it's
Yeah.
just like oh, this is just another thing added on.
Yeah, that I've got to
Here we
deal
go.
with.
yeah, definitely."
Which is, yeah.
brilliant though.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I'm sure that's that thing of being in the moment and being,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
all this stuff is going on around them. They do these long takes, and that's something that happened to him.
When we're introduced to the colossal cave troll, of
Yeah.
course, and that's when our huge fight scene begins.
In,
Yeah.
in
I felt
Valens
sorry for
2.
that cave troll.
Did you?
Yeah,
I guess yeah, it's his home.
It's yeah, but he's got a chain around his neck. It
Oh,
looks
yeah.
like he's being forced to do it.
probably. Yeah.
And then there's when Legolas is on top and he shoots arrows into his head, and you just hear that like really
It's
kind
a
of sad
moment.
groan
in
that
the
he
score
does.
as well. It goes very sad
Yeah.
for a moment there.
And there's a slight there's a slight little bit of
I see
Oh,
what
hang
you
on.
mean. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
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 Well, you
But
wonder.
that is an amazing scene when Legolas gets on top of the
Yeah.
cave
Yeah,
troll
that's
and
the
he's
first sort of
swinging
like
up
hero
onto it.
moment of him,
Oh.
isn't it?
He's like the Superman of the group.
Yeah,
He's
oh, he really
just
is.
so acrobatic and
Yeah.
agile. Yeah.
And then Frodo gets speared.
Yeah.
Do we think he's dead? No, I don't think
Oh,
any
we don't.
person that ever has watched that scene has gone, he's definitely dead.
No.
No.
Of course he isn't.
Of course not.
Of course he's not.
I mean, that is definitely
Silly.
what they call character armor right there.
Yeah.
Which is where
It was just a little bit of. I mean, I suppose they used it because it showed how the Fellowship are getting closer and closer, and how much they, were scared for that
Yeah.
moment that he could be dead.
yeah,
Yeah.
and introduced us to his armor, of course.
Mithril.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in the extended edition, you do see him, as
Right.
Gimli mentions, like, that is a kingly gift.
Yeah.
Yes,
That moment.
that's
And then
right,
you
yeah.
see Frodo just have a little look.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and Gandalf
yeah.
says its worth was more than half the Shire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Quite
which is an
short, really.
amazing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Such a cool bit.
That really goes to show you how much worth is being put into Frodo. That they all kind of putting all their hopes on him
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
deliver this ring. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
here's this
Exactly.
piece that is worth so much money. You must. get
Yeah.
there
Well, it's
and-
Bilbo's, of course. It's
Yes, of
Bilbo's
course,
Bilbo's
yeah.
armor, which he got in The Hobbit, and
Yeah.
and Sting, of course, was his elvish sword, which
Yeah.
he's got as well. And it's another one of those things where it's not that the Shire is not worth money, but it's that this thing from the outside world, which none of them have ever encountered, is worth so much more. It just shows the hobbits. Again, it shows that they're such an insular community.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
this one item, which they would never have dreamed of in their whole lives, is worth a fortune.
Yeah.
Which I love it. I have to say.
So we got to talk about now. We've had our battle.
Mhm. Yeah.
Our fellowship are running.
Yeah.
The goblins are all creeping around them. They're circling them.
Mhm.
There's thousands and thousands, and then suddenly you just hear that groan
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
silence. There's a silence in the goblins, and then
Yeah.
they scream and run.
Yeah.
It's that
They're-
little
I still
They
get
are
shivers
terrified.
from
And
hearing
then
that 'cause it's
Gandalf's little turn around, and you're like,
something big.
Yeah. This is something different.
you don't even see him.
No.
You don't need to.
It just says
Yeah.
swords are no
Sort of no more use
no
here.
more use.
But I don't think he knows that it's a Balrog at that point.
I don't know.
think.
I think he knows what's down there.
I don't know. You see. Oh well, no. In fairness, I think in the films he does because
Yeah.
Saruman is looking in his book and he says, "You know what the dwarves
Yeah.
awoke in
Yeah.
the darkness." So maybe you're right.
So I think he does.
And
know.
there's that picture which looks like the Balrog, but I think in the books rather, I don't think he does know
Maybe
what
not,
it
But he
is.
But-
certainly hadn't seen one before. So is that why?
Oh well, maybe.
Is that
Maybe.
why he is so taken aback when he first sees it, especially?
Also,
Yeah.
no one knows that these things still exist. They're
I-
sort of the stuff of legend.
I think that Gandalf knows what's down there. He's probably never seen it, but he knows that,
Or at least something of that.
yeah, the
Ilk.
dwarves awoke something.
As
and
much as hearing tales
yeah.
from them.
I don't think he's
Yeah.
scared of the goblins at all. Like, any moment, any part of the fight or anything, he's not scared. It's that moment where he just sees the orange
The
kind
fire,
of glare.
yeah.
Now again, cinematography wise,
Oh, it's great.
It's insane.
It's
And the
great
whole
and iconic.
the whole scene of them running and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you never see him for a while. They're just running and going down the bridges, and then that one moment that defies gravity, which I
When they jump over.
yeah, still wasn't. I wasn't a massive fan of that.
Oh,
to
I've
be
never had
fair.
an issue with that at all.
I just
Never ever.
That's not really how gravity works.
Yeah.
You know? If you lean forward, two people.
Oh, what you mean with the pillar for
Yeah.
it? I mean that is a little.
I'm
bit-
just like,
it's a
no.
bit daft.
Look at the size of it. Do you
Yeah.
think your weight is really going to
Yeah.
make any difference
Yeah,
if
it's
you
true.
lean forward?
You need
But-
Sam on there, don't you? He's
I-
a big boy.
I can't have a go. To be fair, I can't have a go at that moment when there are things like Muakil
Yeah.
and also that demon.
Yeah.
I can't go,
Yeah, that's it,
whoa,
you
whoa,
have to
whoa.
weigh things
I'm
up.
fine with the demon.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
this little moment
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
No chance.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
afraid.
breaking all the
I'm
rules.
fine with wizards, but hold on a minute.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we
also
are-
how weathered they look is
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
it's
so
lovely. Yeah.
brilliant. to
They
me.
really-
yeah.
I mean, they push that so hard in
Yeah.
It's-
all of the films, which I think
They're
is great.
drenched in sweat. They've got dirt all over
Yeah.
them, and it just looks
Yeah.
like they've been through a really tough time.
I
Yeah.
really like that, and the environment as well is very. It looks like it's been there. It looks like it's ancient, essentially, which I love,
Yeah.
and that reminds me of Star Wars actually, because the difference with between Star Wars and Star Trek and other sci-fi films, Star Wars always looked like it was made. Like you could see the joins, like on the Millennium
Yeah.
Falcon, you could see the screws and
Yes,
stuff like that, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So it added that sense of realism.
Yeah.
I think they do the same thing with Lord of the Rings. Maybe it was an influence. You never know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, Moria especially, though, everything is just so
Yeah.
beautifully done.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's the moment on the stairs towards Casa Doom is the second appearance of the Fellowship theme, isn't it?
Yeah.
The like when it comes blazing out when they come out of the door.
Yeah.
Let
Can
me-
I just drop in one?
I'd
epic
love you
moment?
to.
Just when Legolas just turns around and fires that arrow in the centre.
When they
You
follow the
goblins
arrow
are-
shot.
Yeah.
What a shot!
That cinematography is
Beautiful.
insane.
And then you see him fall in the distance that
Yeah.
he falls into the pit.
Yeah.
You can't see the bottom.
great.
Unbelievable.
And also you see Aragorn for the first time using a bow and arrow.
Oh yeah.
I always thought
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, he's a great shot.
Because it shows.
In fact, no, you see him a little earlier. You see him a little earlier.
Do you?
When they've got the door shut and they're trying to get him.
Oh, yeah.
And they're firing arrows into
Yeah.
the. But that moment is just really cool seeing Legolas and Aragorn just
side by
firing
side.
arrows.
Sense of camaraderie there.
I definitely always liked that Aragorn did both.
Yeah.
Like I like Boromir's broadsword and shield.
Yeah.
But for me, it was always about. I love Aragorn's two-handed sword, and I love the fact that he also fires a bow and he's so good with it.
Definitely.
I think that's really cool.
So we're at the Bridge of Khazad-dûm.
We are. I'm going to drag us back for one moment.
Yeah, go for it.
This is what I was thinking about when I was talking about Gandalf knowing about the Balrog or not. In the books, he stays behind to try and close the door and keep it closed, and they're waiting at the bottom of the stairs for him, and he has to put a shutting spell on the door. It's a weird relationship that Tolkien has with magic. Sometimes it's words. A lot of the time it is words. But he talks about a spell, which is quite unusual. But he has to put on a spell on the door to stop it closing, and then he says it was still opening. So the creature on the other side was so powerful that the door was still opening. Gandalf couldn't stop it, so he had to speak a word of command. Command has got a capital letter, so it's an important word. Again, not referenced. It's like Hemingway's iceberg theory. It's like Tolkien just says this as it's a thing, and you just have to sort of figure out what's underneath.
Sure.
And so he has to speak this word of command. The door literally cannot take the power that Gandalf is putting into it, so it blows open, and Gandalf is blasted down the stairs. And he says, I think he might even say, "Well, that's over."
Brilliant.
He says, I met my match and have nearly been destroyed. And then they have to go on without light because he hasn't got the strength to light his staff again. Unbelievable. And that shows the Balrog, the power of the Balrog, and the fact that it is on a par with Gandalf, and it is in fact of the same race as Gandalf.
But we need to speak about that fated, that pure, that
come on.
hellish battle between Gandalf and the Balrog.
Yes. What do you want to talk about it?
Well, all of it, really.
Yeah, no, I suppose so.
Where should we start? From the beginning? Yeah, all right then.
Right, so we open with the prologue.
No, right, so they've come down the stairs, they've reached the bridge, Gandalf throws them on.
Okay, let's not talk about the books, let's talk about what actually happens in the film.
Hey, stop referencing the books, mate, because people don't get it.
So what I've learned is that Ben Pryor hasn't read the books and is now
that was obvious.
frantically playing catch up. I don't think we've mentioned that before. He's
I am quite amazed you haven't read them. I audiobook them, to be fair.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, I've never done the audiobook. Who read it?
I think that's a nice way of
God, I can't
consuming
remember
it.
who read it now.
Is it quite an old one?
It's on Audible. Can't remember who read it.
I wonder who it is.
It's quite a good way of actually consuming it in a kind of pastely fashion, I would say, as an audiobook.
Is that what people say?
Yeah.
Pastely fashion.
Of course.
Yeah, no, you are right.
Yeah.
The issue with that is that audiobooks do take a long time.
No,
I've always thought I read much
kind of-
faster than I can listen, if you know what I mean.
I actually meant more that you could take your time with it more with an
Definitely.
audiobook.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just said that really badly.
We've gone off topic again.
we have.
Right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
let's
So
continue.
this is the actual
The Bridge
first time
of Khazad-dûm.
we see Gandalf's powers.
Yeah,
We see what he can actually do.
yeah.
Because obviously, so if we're talking about this, but we have to talk about why Gandalf is there, because he obviously isn't a wizard that is allowed to use all of his powers.
Well, that's right. That's
He's
an
there
interesting thing.
as a guardian. He's a guardian,
It's a guardian
of
of
Middle-earth.
Middle-earth, yeah.
So he isn't allowed to use his powers. That's why, in The Hobbit, they have to have a council and say, right, you shouldn't be helping out those dwarves. That's not your place. And Gandalf just does that cheeky little smile to Galadriel and just like...
Yeah.
So this is where we first see Gandalf actually using his powers, because he isn't doing it, he's fighting a damn Balrog.
Yeah. Which,
So-
a creature which is on the same level as him.
Yeah.
It's very interesting that the limits that are imposed on the Maiar, which is what they are, the
all
Order of the
Maiar,
Maiar. And so Gandalf has come to combat Sauron. That's his quest.
Yeah.
But he's not allowed to face him openly, and he's not allowed to meet strength with strength. He's there to inspire, which is, I think, it's a fascinating thing to have this incredibly powerful creature. Which is what he is, really. He's not a man, he's a creature. He's a supernatural creature. Yeah.
And I suppose
Very
that just
awesome.
comes from, or going back and back and back and back to like the First Age kind of times, is that at the end of the day, that all of the Maiar were there just to, lead and just show them the way, show the elves the way, the dwarves the way, the men the way, and then Middle Earth is theirs.
I guess that's kind of like a natural born leader, isn't it? To guide people rather than to just be... Because if they were able to use all
exactly,
their ability,
they could
everyone
sort it
else
out
would
in
be
a second.
useless.
Yeah, well, absolutely, yeah. And they would the race of man and all the lesser races would grow to resent them as well.
Yeah.
Or they would just be, which is what Saruman wants to be. He wants to overthrow everyone else and just be solely in charge.
Rule
Yeah.
them, yeah.
We haven't properly met Saruman yet. But, well, no, we've met him, but we don't know his full
He
plans.
has the most power out of all. Well, no. Actually,
At this point, Saruman,
I suppose Galadriel is actually.
Yeah.
She's
she's a different sort of thing. But out of the wizards, yeah. At the moment, Saruman is the leader.
out of the 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and just watching, when he raises his staff up and has that shield,
Yeah.
that
Beautiful.
bubble shield and
Beautiful,
stuff, it's
yeah.
done so well, and it is just amazing. Like, there isn't actually that much fighting; it's more about
No.
them facing each other,
Yeah.
and the whole thing of "you shall not pass."
Yeah.
That's
The
amazing.
Balrog isn't necessarily trying to kill them. I mean, I think half of me kind of makes me think maybe he's just trying to escape. He's trying
Yeah.
to find a way.
Do you think he might be being drawn to the ring?
Could be.
There's some
I've
gr-
never thought about that.
Frodo is carrying the ring. The Balrog
Yeah.
is this creature of immense darkness from the ancient world. So is the ring.
That's true.
Yeah.
Does the ring
there's
draw these things?
Must
Or
be a connection there somewhere.
maybe, I don't know. But I don't think the Balrog would understand. Like, it's not particularly intelligent as a creature, is it? It's just incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, because it's... I mean, the Balrog is a very ancient thing. It's been there since... Well, possibly even before the First Age, I don't really know. I don't know the history of...
But they were they lieutenants of Melkor back in the day?
I mean, he used
sure
them in
this one
battles
during
and
Spain.
stuff, but
They did what? Sorry, say that.
he used them in battles and
Yeah,
stuff like
of
that.
course.
But I don't know...
Can we also talk about Ian McKellen's delivery of "You Shall Not Pass," which has
Oh, yeah.
become iconic,
It has.
and it's now used as a reference point
Yeah.
for incredible acting everywhere, and people use that as a kind of, this is Lord of the Rings. This is what Lord of the Rings is.
Yeah.
You shall not.
Especially the Fellowship, it's that line very much does
Yeah.
equate the film.
Yeah. Oh, and something else that's really interesting is that when Gandalf does that, and he has Glamdring and he has his staff,
Yeah.
and he smashes his staff on the bridge and cracks it, the staff breaks, which is amazing, and it's thrown away. So this stick of wood is unable to take the force of the spell which is going through it.
Yeah.
So when Gandalf is unleashed in this way, which obviously so rarely happens, as you say, whatever normal everyday object is there can't handle it.
So
Can't
is he
handle it.
working outside of his limit that's been given to him when doing that? Do
I
you
think
reckon?
It's a good question.
The thing is that maybe I mean, Gandalf hasn't used those powers forever.
Yeah.
Like since a very long time. So it's just, I don't think he's used to actually just showing that. And
No,
being
absolutely.
Like that.
Yeah.
I think it shows more in the books that maybe he's more like that than it does in the films.
Right.
What, that he doesn't use his powers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely referenced. And in
Yeah.
fact, when he's trying to remember the passwords,
Yeah.
he talks about all the things that he's forgotten.
Yeah.
He's been alive for thousands of years. You
Exactly.
know?
Yeah.
When the 5 wizards came, he's been wandering around for 2,000
Yeah.
years or something
Now,
like
what's
that.
interesting is that his memory is that of man still, and so he forgets
Yeah.
things. Now that's
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
interesting.
he does
But
have the
it-
failings of man, which
It's
I
very
love.
different to rather someone like Elrond that does remember
Exactly.
everything.
Yeah, that's what I was
Whereas
thinking.
Gandalf doesn't. It's because he has done so much though.
Yeah.
He's never been a character that likes to sit still.
Oh, no.
Gandalf actually takes the mick out of him a little bit. I know this is talking about the Hobbit, but when he gives him the ancient dwarven map,
Oh,
he
yeah.
says, "You still do read ancient dwarf, don't you?" And that, I think that's a little bit of a mick take towards his
But the fact-
everlasting fountain of
The
youth.
fact
Sure.
that Gandalf can't read ancient dwarf,
Yeah,
it's
but he possibly could once upon a time. so-
yeah.
Maybe,
There's
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
things.
it's just slipped away.
So obviously we have to
Fascinating.
talk about the biggest part then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We lose Gandalf.
Oh, what a moment.
God.
Do you remember that moment when you
Now
saw
I
it for the first
do,
time?
and I remember it very clearly. Where before the other two had come out, the speculation of is he gone forever? Have
Yeah.
we lost Gandalf forever? And it was real. I genuinely thought, and I remember people talking about it and saying, "Oh no, he's not quite dead.
Yeah.
He's gonna," and we were like thinking, "Well, he might actually be dead." My
Yeah.
God, it was that much.
I always, if there's one thing I can compare it to, and I think there is only one thing, it does remind me of Ned Stark's death in Game of Thrones.
Right. Okay.
That because Frodo is kind of the lead in this, but it's more Gandalf leading the way.
Well, yeah,
Frodo
initially.
leading the adventure in this film.
Yeah.
And Gandalf dying does remind me of Ned Stark. That lead is just being taken away under,
Yeah.
The safe pair of hands.
and you see.
Apart from Ned Stark's death was more definite, I think, compared to.
I mean, I don't know that he's just fallen down.
Yeah, that is true. That is
with a massive demon.
I thought that he had
Like-
something.
Looking good, isn't
Like
it?
Ned Stark got beheaded, fair enough, but like he's just fallen down a never-ending
Yeah.
pit
Yeah.
with a demon. You think maybe his
I can't wait
chances
till
are.
can't wait till we can talk about that.
Oh,
when we
what, Game
actually
of
see
Thrones?
it. No. Him falling down with the
Oh,
barrel.
yeah.
in the film.
Oh, yeah.
Another time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That will be soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a
Not
million
yet
miles
soon,
away.
but soon.
But not yet.
I just think it's beautiful, and to see Frodo's reaction, knowing that he's lost his guardian,
I
he's
love
lost
that.
The scream.
lost the only
Grief.
the only person
Oh.
that he really trusts in this situation. Like obviously
Yeah.
he trusts Sam, but Sam has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
He's
Gandalf
very much
does.
a father
Even
figure
Aragorn.
to.
Yeah.
He's very much a father figure to
Yeah.
Frodo, and I think
Yeah.
it's that you see in his eyes. My God, it's
Yeah.
so just heart wrenching.
And one of his dearest friends as well.
Yeah.
They all love. That's the thing. Gandalf and the hobbits are very, very, very close. Him and Frodo in particular. They've spent so much time together.
Yeah.
It's absolutely heart-rending to see their reaction.
Yeah.
Can we take a moment to talk about the depiction of magic in this film compared to, say, Harry Potter, which is the other big magical sort of world? So I mentioned a little bit before about the whole spell thing is not particularly clear in Lord of
In
the
the
Rings.
films.
With the spoken
And
word.
in the films, yeah, he had to speak a word of command and all that sort of thing. So that's obviously an unusual thing. And Gandalf summons his shield silently.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as simple as J.K. Rowling does the Latin enchantments. It's
Yeah.
nothing like that. But it feels to me, it feels to me like it could be of the same sort of world, but it's a what's the phrase I'm trying to look for? It's like an old world version of that. It's like Gandalf is more elemental, let's say,
Yeah.
than the wizards of Harry Potter, which are more practical.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So Gandalf sort of feels his way into these things. He knows that he's conjuring some sort of defense, but he does. It's not a protean charm or anything like that. You
I
know?
always thought in that respect that in the Harry Potter world, I thought personally that the more experienced they were as a wizard, the less they had to rely on using words to
Yeah.
create spells.
That's true. Actually,
Ah,
when you
yeah.
get to like Deathly Hallows and stuff like that,
Yeah.
half the time they don't even
No,
say the
that's
words.
right, and perhaps that could be the same here,
Yeah.
where Gandalf is more experienced in certain magics, and he
Oh,
doesn't
definitely.
need to.
Mm.
Because if I know this is talking about the Hobbit again, but if you see Radagast, he is doing a very difficult spell, and he
Yeah.
has to utter the words.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's interesting
That's
as well.
a good point.
Gandalf is his thing is fire. That's Gandalf's
He is,
thing.
he is, yeah.
So he's got the fireworks, obviously, which is his charming tricks that he does.
Yeah.
But he is his great power is fire,
Yeah.
and he has the fire ring, the Elvish
Yeah.
ring, which we don't see in the film until the Return of the King, I don't think. But he has got it by this point. He's given it when they come ashore, and that's and so it's interesting that he falls to a fire demon. That's what defeats him in the end,
yeah.
which I'd never thought of before. And also that the things that he conjures are not fire
Yeah.
at all. He conjures this shield out of
It's like
air.
he's not even trying to beat it using his full power of fire,
Yeah.
but rather trying to
Yeah.
keep everyone else safe or something like that. Perhaps it's more defensive magic he's using.
Yeah.
rather than
I think
offensive.
he knows that he has at that point. I think he knows that this is his path.
Yeah, I think you're right.
By the time he's on the bridge, he knows I'm not going with the Fellowship.
You're absolutely right.
I'm going with this demon, and it
Yeah.
needs to be defeated.
Yeah.
I think he just thinks overall, like if the Balrog ever gets out or whatever,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big
then
trouble.
The whole place is done. So
I think you're right.
I think that's why he does the bridge to break the bridge, because he knows the Balrog's about to come, and he knows he has to go with.
But then
Maybe
there
that's
is
all
a
he can do.
beautiful,
Yeah.
there is a beautiful moment after the Balrog falls where you see Gandalf looking quite content after the Balrog has fallen. He looks back towards his.
Does he look content there?
Well, I think he looks like
I'm not
Hanging over the edge
I
of a
think I
precipice.
know-
no. He's not hanging at this point. But when the Balrog first falls,
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and he looks-
Before the whippers come around, and he's
he looks
like
back as
exhausted.
if,
but-
yeah, letting out a sigh of
Yeah, okay,
relief.
yeah.
And then they're all looking at him, thinking, "God, you
Thank
got
God
rid
for
of
that."
it. That's amazing."
Yeah.
Until we see the fiery whip come out.
Oh. Every time that's one of those moments, like I have in lots of these films, I'm like, oh, maybe it'll be different this time.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
run
I do
forward.
that, yeah,
just
yeah.
run forward. You'll
Yeah,
be fine.
yeah, yeah.
I do that with Revenge of the Sith. Every
Yeah.
time I watch it, I'm like, maybe he won't. Oh no, he's turned.
He's done it again. Oh, there's so many opportunities for him not to do that.
And then we've got that lovely little scene,
Yeah.
which we should probably stop at, just outside Moria, where you see the impact.
Yeah.
I think it's
His
called the
death.
Mirror Mere. I think that they come
Yeah.
out and look at outside those doors.
And even someone like Boromir is just taken aback.
Yeah.
And because
That's
he's
the
a
stuff of legend.
he's a legend to everyone.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
So, you know, even though we've only seen them for an hour together as the Fellowship, it's such a massive thing to witness.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone like him passing, it's just like, wow.
Mm.
And especially Merry and Pippin just
Oh
are
yeah.
destroyed.
They
Yeah.
can't believe what's going on, can they?
Yeah.
It seems so far from what they know.
Well, it must be maybe the first big death that they've, because they're quite
Definitely,
young, that
definitely.
they've experienced. Maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm
Especially
postulating a little
of
bit.
that impact.
Oh,
I'd
no.
say.
And
Fighting
And
a
in that
giant
scenario
demon.
as well. Yeah. Oh my god, absolutely.
Whereas Aragorn is just very...
Part of the course, isn't it, mate? Yeah.
Well, I think that's where he realises I need to take control and I
Yeah.
need to do this quick. And that's why...
Yeah, so he's
Says
sort
everyone.
of he has to steel himself and decides to become the leader.
And I know we joke about this line quite a lot. Give him a moment for pity's sake.
Yeah.
But that's such a compassionate moment from Boromir.
It is.
Because he isn't thinking of the ring and what we have to do with it or
No.
any possibility. He's just thinking, wow, this has really hit them.
It made
Yeah.
me really emotional
They
watching
need-
that bit
yeah.
from him.
I think it's a lovely moment from Boromir.
It is.
Just a slight line of...
No, it really is, and it shows
Caring.
his humanity, which
the
is lovely to
compassionate
see.
side, which we also don't, see a lot of when he's...
No, so it's
Yeah.
nice. We've had two big moments of Boromir's really good side and
Yeah.
compassionate and empathic side.
Yeah.
Interesting, the different races' responses to it. The hobbits are distraught and bewildered and beside themselves. Aragorn, as you say, takes up the mantle. Boromir is empathetic, but more to the hobbits, as though they're sort of children. How does Legolas respond?
Legolas, I can do the face.
Ben, can you describe the face he just did?
Well, it's a pondering into the distance with a slight amount of
I think he's
despair.
shocked.
Well,
Did you
yeah,
get shock from that, Ben?
no, I got despair with a bit of kind of looking into the distance. And
Hang on.
Oh,
okay,
now we're talking.
we got a bit
There
of
we
shock. The eyebrows
There
were
we
slightly
go.
skewed. Yeah,
There we go.
Excellent directing from Ben.
absolutely shocking.
Shocking.
Positively shocking.
But yeah, I think Gimli and Legolas react.
Gimli's upset, isn't he?
Gimli's upset.
Gimli's weeping.
But I mean, elves,
Well, yeah.
they're not as emotional.
No, they compose themselves a bit more. Don't
Yeah.
they? And they can-
Yeah, they are.
But you can
distant.
still see a little bit behind Legolas's eyes that is just,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Again, he's known Gandalf for a long time.
Oh,
as well,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
They all have.
so legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably where we're going to have to stop it, boys.
Yeah.
Round up our wonderful dual podcasts
So-
of the Fellowship of the Ring.
Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to have to do a part 3.
are.
Now, we may have said in the first one we're just going to do 2 parts.
But in fairness, in the first one, we thought we were only going to do one part.
Yes.
It is part 3, but fear not. Fear not. Because next week we will bring out part 3, but we also realise that we're heavy Tolkiening it.
Is that...
That's not
That's
a
a
word.
word. That's a word. now.
Right, okay. Tolkiening.
So next week, drum roll, please.
Please.
What is happening here? Awful. Oh, good drumming.
We are doing. That's a real wet fart.
Sorry.
We are doing Star Wars: A New Hope. Yes, you heard it right. You heard it right.
How many
We are-
parts will this be?
This is. Well, we're doing one. We're doing
it's
one.
big talk.
We're doing one part on A New Hope because there's so many Star Wars films.
There are quite a few.
And
They keep on bringing them out.
I'm guessing, yeah.
it. It's a
Please,
nightmare.
I'm going to say this from my opinion. Stop. Disney, stop.
They
Stop.
are listening to this
Stop
podcast.
bringing them out. If you are, if Kathleen Kennedy, you are listening right now, stop. Just stop with the Star Wars films. Series, yes.
Love
Carry
Mando.
on.
Big
With
fans.
massive Mandalorian fans, but the films, just stop.
What if they do a really good one?
Yeah.
They won't though.
But they might.
They won't.
Oh, God.
They won't. That's the reason why Obi-Wan has gone to a series, because they've realised we are at making films.
Now you
That's
got
a
to bleep
bleep
that
that.
out.
Great.
I'll beat that stuff out. See, held back there.
Yeah, if you could do that from now on, that'd be great.
But yeah, so we are doing Star Wars: A New Hope. Very exciting.
How exciting.
I'm very excited personally. I'm
Yeah.
a massive Star Wars man.
Yeah, same.
We
I
all
think
are,
we all
really,
are,
I
yeah,
suppose. Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's not just going to be Lord of the Rings, just
No.
in case that's what you thought we did. We're going to be going over to the Star Wars universe
But we will be finishing the Fellowship, of course.
We certainly will.
next
Certainly
week
will.
as well.
It's a big one.
2 a week. You lucky people.
Okay.
I knew that was coming.
A few thank yous. Thank you for everyone that has helped us on Instagram and stuff like that. That's given us shout outs. You know who you are. I would say the names right now, but I don't have my phone.
Yeah,
Fair.
what have we hit now, mate?
We well, so people know. We were on 180 something. We're now on 222.
Amazing.
So thank you everyone
Delightful.
that has helped us out.
In the space of one podcast, I mean, that's
I mean,
pretty
in
cool.
fairness, yeah, it's pretty good.
And I don't know about you guys, but I didn't know if this would actually be listened to.
It's lovely that it is.
Thank you.
And it is, which is very nice. And
Yeah. Please do continue to share and share again.
Yes.
And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask us, any comments, any questions, anything that you want to throw at us like that, feel free, and we'll try and get back to you with a little story shout out or something like
Yeah,
that. Where we
absolutely,
can answer.
yeah.
I was going to say, I feel very lucky to be with people who are so knowledgeable, so I am able to ask them things
You're
all
going
the
to
time.
right. So
But-
when Ben sends us questions, we won't put those.
No,
because he
don't
asks
listen
them
to
all
my
the
questions.
time.
But so you guys should also do what I do and ask questions, shoot loads of questions at them because they have lots of knowledge about lots of different things.
Yes. So thank you if you're listening to this on YouTube, if you're listening to it on Spotify, if you are listening to it on podcast
Apple
or
Music, yeah.
Apple Music.
Podcast even.
or any other form. Thank you very much. If you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe, give us a comment and a like. That would be great. If you're listening on Spotify, please follow us on Spotify and give us a like on the Facebook as well. We are everywhere.
We're not leaving it there. We're not leaving it with we are
Bum,
everywhere.
bum, bum, bum.
Nothing but love, babe. 8 days a geek.